Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of PVTV. Today's question was written in by David. Thanks for your question, David, who says, loving your guys' videos on solar and batteries. There's quite a range of battery options for solar. Have you guys done a video on reviewing the options and which ones you would recommend? Tesla Powerwalls get a lot of attention, but I've seen a few LG batteries on your video. On your videos, are they your preferred battery? Any reason why? I'd love to get solar and a battery for my house so that I don't have electricity bills anymore. That's awesome. Your videos have helped explain a lot of it for when we are ready to take the plunge. Is there a typical cost range for a 6 kilowatt system to do a 4-bedroom house for a young family of 4? Thanks guys, and keep up the good work. Dave, thank you so much and welcome to the show. We'd love to answer this question for you. We'll start off with maybe the first part of the question.
Yep.
Which is a big one. It's LG versus Tesla.
LG versus Tesla.
So Ross, is LG our preferred battery? And if so, why is LG our preferred battery to Tesla? And what are some of the differences?
Well, LG is our preferred battery over Tesla. And contrary to what most people might think, it's not because of specifications and specs. If you compare the two batteries to each other, both top of the line batteries, both really good specs. So why we choose LG over Tesla is not actually all to do with that.
So it's not to do with the specifications of the battery of LG versus Tesla. And why isn't it to do with specifications? Because if you think of comparing differences between products, you think specifications.
Yeah, it's the first thing you think of. And I say it's not the specifications, because they're both very similar and they're both the best in their class. Yeah. So, LG has some options, but they're both, LG's 10 kilowatt hours, Tesla's 13.5 kilowatt hours. They've both got really good charge rates and discharge rates, really good warranties. They're both very similar in that regard, but we have chosen to go with LG, and there are a few reasons why.
Great. So even though in terms of specifications, they're virtually the same. Yeah. It's safe to say there are some minor differences, but virtually the same. The Tesla battery's slightly more storage capacity, but generally in terms of cost per kilowatt, if you look at the general market cost per kilowatt, it works out about the same as well.
They're pretty similar, yeah. Tesla just had a little price hike as well.
Yeah, about $2,000.
Was it last month? Tesla was, when it got introduced, it was really good value for money. It still is really good value for money, and it was the cheapest cost per kilowatt in the battery market. But they've recently had a price jump. They went up about $2,000 on the wholesale price. So
it's made it about the same as LG.
In line now with LG, and yeah.
So aside from specifications, what are we looking at, and why have we chosen LG as a company to install instead of, say, the Tesla Powerwall, which is an immensely popular battery, extremely popular, if not the most well-known solar battery in the world at the moment. Why would we choose to go with LG and not with something like Tesla?
Yeah, well, Tesla, you would almost say, introduced the world to the home battery with the Powerwall version 1. But the reason we've gone down the LG Chem path is, one of the first reasons is availability. So, as everyone knows, Tesla Powerwall 2 is the latest Tesla. Very, very hard to come by. So people are on 6-month to 12-month waiting lists just to get them installed. I've seen a few other solar retailers out that actually stopped selling them because the waiting lists are getting huge.
Over 12 months.
On
average at the moment. So.
But the most important thing to note about this, it's not because it's in such high demand. That's not why their battery is so hard to come by. It's just purely a supply issue. They can't produce them fast enough. If you look at the statistics, LG Chem has more market share and sells more batteries,
but has more availability.
But we've installed hundreds of them, and I don't think I can even remember a time where we've had to just put installs on hold because of supply issue. They've always been available and ready for us to order and install.
That's it. And it's an interesting thing because we saw this at the start of the battery boom in solar, where Tesla was the popular thing. And in doing our research, we actually were in talks with Tesla about whether or not we should sell their batteries on their behalf. And we ended up choosing to go with LG. And part of the reason is because we saw those supply issues back then. We saw that LG had established manufacturing facilities. LG Chem, who makes the batteries, had been a company for 80 years, so they had that track record. And Tesla back then was experiencing supply issues. They were trying to figure out how to get these batteries made to scale, and LG had already done it.
Yeah.
And so to avoid the risk of putting people on waiting lists for a product that hadn't yet mastered the ability to get their product to a mass market, we chose to go with LG because it was a more stable company, a more established company, had been around for, as we said, 80 years plus. Excuse me, I spat on you.
Yeah.
And Tesla had only been around a couple of years and was already experiencing supply issues.
Yeah. And
so
it was a kind of a risky call at the time because, like I said, Tesla's kind of introduced. Everyone started talking home batteries when Tesla first announced the Powerwall 1, and LG Chem wasn't as popular then, so it was a bit more of a sell to. It
was easier to sell Tesla batteries.
It was easier to sell Tesla batteries, so. But that's starting to change. That has changed massively.
Yeah,
in the past
and LG have a massive proportion of the market share, far more than Tesla does. So even though everyone, that's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
So even though Tesla is the name everyone knows, they actually don't have as much market share, at least in Australia, as the LG Chem does.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So what are some other reasons why we chose to go with LG?
So another reason we went with LG is options.
Mm-hmm.
So the LG Chem battery is designed to give the end consumer lots of options around what they can have. I guess the good thing about Tesla Powerwall is it just is what it is. So there's not a whole lot you can do with it, but it works well for what it does. When I say options, I mean the LG Chem battery can go off-grid. So if you couple it with this electronic or something like that,
an off-grid inverter, so to speak,
you can be fully off-grid. The LG Chem is also compatible with monitoring systems like Reposit and those sort of things. Which
is Reposit compatible with Tesla?
No,
it's not.
It's not compatible with Tesla, so it's only compatible with LG Chems and a couple of other battery manufacturers. But and then obviously the LG also comes in now 4 sizes: 3.3, 6.5, 10, 13, all of which you can double. So you can go as low as 13 up to 26 kilowatt hours with.
So there's a lot of versatility. Now with Tesla, can you do that?
You can. It is definitely scalable. You can have multiple Powerwalls on one install, but you can't go smaller than the 13 kilowatt, 13.5 kilowatt Powerwall 2. So people who don't want to spend that much and don't need that much power,
don't need a battery that's so huge,
they can drop down to a 6.5 kilowatt LG, and then in the future when they need, they can add another 6.5 kilowatt LG, or even like a 13 down the track.
Got it.
So that's really cool.
Awesome. So there's versatility
in
the LG in that it can have it has off-grid application. We do off-grid systems, so that's important to us. It also has more size range, so you can go smaller if you don't need such a huge battery. Then you can stack them as time goes by. So that's a great option for many people. And then I think for me primarily, the choice to go with LG comes down to reputation. So having a company that's in such a new market, which is solar batteries, relatively new compared to most tech markets, to have a company that's been doing it or been in the game for 80 years plus is huge.
So LG Chem, I think we've done a video
on the safety range
this before on the safety range, but also they've been making home residential batteries, which is the LG Chem Resu is their home range, which stands for residential. That's just a small part of who their battery manufacturing was. They're making batteries for cars. They've been making batteries for phones for years. Telecoms, all these sort of industries LG were in, and they just went, oh, hang on, let's do the home market as well, and then all their expertise just transferred straight over. So they've got that really good track record of being in the battery market. And
interesting because they have the batteries have such great technology in them. It's used by many luxury car manufacturers in their electric vehicles, I should say. So, like Porsche, I'm gonna go off the top of it. BMW, Mercedes, Range Rover, all use LG batteries in their electric vehicles. There's a huge list. Porsche. Porsche. How do you say Porsche? Porsche.
Pretty sure it's Porsche.
Porsche. So all these guys are using LG batteries in their cars, and a list of many more. So all these reasons come together for us to give us certainty, because we don't want to offer a product that's not going to have the track record not only in the past but in the future, because we're a company that's going to be around for the long haul, and we don't want to give everyone Tesla batteries because they're popular, and then A, they can't get supplied because
Yeah.
Tesla hasn't figured that out yet, or B, something happens to Tesla because it's such a volatile new company and they disappear, which could happen, and then you've got all these people left in the lurch, and we're very much not about that. So that's why we chose to go with LG.
Yeah.
And to answer the second part of your question, Dave, what is the right size battery for your home for a family of 4? To answer this very broadly, I say it depends on your daily usage. Your average family of 4 or 5 will generally use about 1 kilowatt per hour. Family of 4 or 5, that's the average in Australia. So that's about 24 kilowatt hours a day.
Yeah.
If you're using 24 kilowatt hours a day, a 5 or 6 kilowatt system based off average production in Australia is enough to cover that. Solar system is enough to cover that. And then in terms of a battery, it's just a matter of a simple equation that if you're using 24 kilowatt hours a day, about 1 an hour for your average family, if you get a 10 kilowatt hour battery, you're going to get about 10 hours out of that battery, give or take, depending where your usage peaks. Now, if you're using double that usage, like some families of 4 or 5 live in much bigger houses, you'll need a battery to suit that, or a solar system to suit that. If it's a lot smaller, you might not even need a battery that big, which goes back to saying before you might need a small battery.
You might need a 3.3.
Yeah.
Tiny little battery, so it just depends on what you need, and there's something in the range there to suit all needs. So.
Yeah, and it's modular, so you can start with the 6.5 and add another one if you want to down the track.
Yeah.
If you've got young children, and they grow into becoming teenagers and they start staying up all night playing Fortnite, or you've got teenage girls who are spending a lot of time in the bathroom with hair straighteners and that sort of thing. So it'll change over time as well. But look at your bill, work it off an average hourly rate. Choose a solar system that can produce enough to cover that, and then a battery that's enough to cover that for however many hours at night time you think you're going to be using it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
That answer the question?
I think that answers the question, yeah.
Dave, thank you so much for your question. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. If anyone else gets questions about solar or batteries, leave them in the comments below this video, and we look forward to answering them for you soon. Take care.